every single time you see me, I am wearing the same exact top. But it's okay. It's okay. So anyways, hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm looking over here because as you can see, I have notes. Before we begin, you know the drill. Like, comment, share, subscribe, do all the things. We really have like a fun time here being the bare minimum of human, which is fun. Today's video is another chat with me. Oh Lord. And for the second time, we're going to be talking about someone that I supported before they fucked up. The first person was Only JS. If you haven't seen that video, I'll leave an iCard above. I had followed Only JS when I was in like sophomore year. Then the whole like them saying the N slur came out, and I was like, you're not getting my support anymore. There's actually a petition now created to ban her off of TikTok, which will be down below in my link tree in the important links link, which will take you to the Google Doc that's filled with a bunch of petitions that you should sign, a bunch of GoFundMes where you can donate money if you have, and a bunch of other stuff. So you can sign that petition, and you can sign a bunch of other petitions for a bunch of other important causes. Okay, and then today's video is talking about Creepshow R, or CS, or CSA, or Shannon. Shannon is an art commentary channel. I became an avid viewer of her like 2 years ago, when the Rewired Soul drama happened. Basically, the Rewired Soul drama was a bunch of people calling out the Rewired Soul or Chris for speculating on people's mental health and their personal struggles. So yeah, I really loved her from that point, because I remember in that video she had taken her time to make it because she didn't want to make it spur of the moment. She wanted to collect her thoughts and collect everything, internalize it for a bit, and then make the video. And I really liked that. So I watched a bunch of her other videos. I subscribed to her, and until recently with the Hello Leash situation, I'll leave Hello Leash's video down below because I do not have time to get into that. With the Hello Leash situation, I finally unsubscribed from her. And now we're finding all of this out, and I'm like, oh. But before the Hello Leash situation, there was a lot of other scandals that Shannon was in. Primarily, like the bigger picture of the other scandals was that she wasn't really doing her research anymore. Again, like I said, she's a commentary channel. She basically talked about topics on the internet that she wanted to discuss. A lot of them were really dark topics. And at one point, she basically posted videos like every day. I don't know how she did that, but a lot of people were commenting on the fact that she really wouldn't do her research, and her channel was basically like 4 or 5 seconds away from being a content farm. I'll leave a bunch of videos down below talking about that. Like from other smaller creators that I had watched. And there was this one video that got really popular from an art channel called Toby, or yeah, Toby. Her other ats are like Toby Majestic. but her on YouTube was or is Toby. I don't know if they're still online anymore because they also caught a lot of flack. But Toby had made a video called The Faults of Creepshow Art, which is why this video is called The Faults of Creepshow Art, the remix, because I'm original. But yeah, this video was highly regarded, but it has since been taken down and re-uploaded. I'll leave the link to that down below. I highly recommend you go watch that. It basically has the same criticisms that I lightly brushed over, which is spreading misinformation and not doing enough research. Then there was this whole drama after the Toby video came out. That's the Hopeless Peaches drama, and we are going to get into that in a little bit, or you can skip to that timestamp. All timestamps are linked down below. They're little chapters. So you can skip to the little chapter that you want. Yeah. But we will get into that. So when the Toby drama happened, the Hopeless Peaches drama happened, because Shannon likes to say like, oh yeah, criticize me. I watched a lot of videos criticizing her, just like I had done before with watching videos that were calling her out for spreading misinformation and lies. I watched other videos discussing the Hopeless Peaches situation. I'll probably link like two of the bigger ones down below so that you guys can watch those. And it really started leaving like a sour taste in my mouth. So I kind of watched her more passively. Like every time she would upload before then, I would watch all her uploads, like that day basically. But after I had seen that, I started watching her like a little less. Like I would still watch her from time to time if YouTube heavily pushed a video of hers onto me. But it wasn't like before. Then the Hello Leash stuff came out and I unsubscribed. And now all of this is coming out and everyone else is unsubscribing. Oh, Lord. But yeah. So we're just going to talk about everything that's happened since the lolcow drama. And because this is a video about the art commentary community, about one art commentary YouTuber, I thought it would be pretty cool if I just did a little speed paint in the background for y'all. Now, it's not much, but you know, give y'all a little something. Give y'all a little something. I thought it would be appropriate. But yeah, I want to give a disclaimer and a trigger warning before we get into that. Everything in this video is alleged. Meanwhile, there is circumstantial evidence and the lolcow stuff is basically provable at this point. I want to say everything is alleged because none of it is really confirmed. You get me? And I am not one to get sued. I have no money. Everything in this video is alleged. And I'm basically gonna have to give you a trigger warning on everything. Everything in the world I am going to have to give you a trigger warning for, because there is the usage of slurs such as the R slur, transphobic slurs, the word autistic used in like a derogatory way. In the lolcow section, and in the Emily Artful section, there is stalking, harassment, well, not really the usage, but the probable usage, I guess, allegedly, of some really illegal pictures. There is mention of drug abuse, eating disorders, mental health issues. So if you would just like to skip this whole video, be my guest, honestly. I would rather you not be triggered. But yeah, I don't know if you can really enjoy this video, but I put a lot of work into it. So I hope you appreciate the work I put into it and the stress that I put into it, because I've been working on this script for days. I have been working on this video for probably longer than any other video. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the work I put into it, the drawing that you're going to see in like a second. And yeah, let's get started. Yes, I look disheveled and like a mess. I'm about to start editing this video, so hi, editing Jess here. But it is today, June 19th, Juneteenth. And there has been more stuff that has come out that is not in my script, but I'm not going to continue writing my script because my script is literally 8 pages long. So I feel like at this point, it's just the basis, you know, the main things, the main course. If you want to learn about everything else that has happened since everyone came out with Creepshow or Shannon or whatever. I know an old friend of hers came out recently and made a Twitter thread. Her sibling has come out and talked about the situation. And her editor came out and made a video on this situation, just saying some words. So if you would like to check out everything else that has occurred, I'll be linking more videos down below than are already linked. Oh Lord. But yeah, this situation is very important. I have never seen anything like it. So yeah, so basically this is the catalyst for everything that occurs in this video. I want to try and go in a chronological order for this video so I can better stream my thoughts and make them coherent. On June 4th, an account called DishSoap1234 came out with a thread talking about how for almost 3 years, Shannon made a post on a website called lolcow.farms or .farm. Lolcow is basically a gossip forum. Omnia made a great video on this issue, and I will link it down below. It is an anonymous website, so if a user breaks the site's rules, they will be outed by the admin using their IP and cookies. Let me get into this thread. I will be leaving a link in the description to the thread. There will be slurs and words used in a derogatory way. I won't say any that don't pertain to me, but I will be showing the screenshots, so leave if this will be triggering for you. You can just skip to another portion of the video. So Dish Soap's thread states, I've seen some people ask about the Creepshow or lolcow drama. This is a thread. Shannon has been posting on lolcow, a gossip site about influencers, since at least 2018. She was posting anonymously, but admins outed her as punishment for pretending to be her own fans and haters. And they attached a screenshot. So the screenshot states, it's from the admins of lolcow. As many users in this thread are aware, Shannon's posts on lolcow haven't exactly been subtle. We've decided to compile her post history after she escalated her behavior by sharing her sister's social media in order to deflect from criticism towards herself. Beyond that, she has been anonymously posting her videos and Patreon/YouTube membership to farmers and making posts about herself to either white knight or insult herself. For many years, we've had a policy to reveal post histories of users who go to great lengths to use lolcow.farm to propel their online presence. You can read the full post history here, and they included a link to the full post history. So the next tweet in this thread is, when her sister was in the ICU, Shannon posted her social media. Oh, my bad. The sibling has come out and stated that they are non-binary, so I apologize for that. When her sibling was in the ICU, Shannon posted their social media to lolcow, trying to have her attacked for being too much of a quote-unquote SJW. She posted insults towards her friends, Ready to Glare, D'Angelo Wallace, and Sexy Edwin. She called people fat, autistic, ugly, R-word, etc. And the screenshots go as follow. D'Angelo is the guy that everyone pretends to like, but no one really does. He tried to get in tight with a lot of them, and because he talked about drama and made Holly, another art YouTuber, look like a tool, they befriended him for safety. I think Holly sucks, but before his video came out, no one in the commentaries said shit. Then she decided to rebrand and delete. This is pretty much at zero still. And it's pretty much at zero still. They're all scared of that. I used to like this thread, but at this point, it's just this one guy posting repeatedly, trying to get people to think his R-word Twitter rants are cool. I tried to watch his video accusing another YouTuber, who I have never heard of, Beast Boy, of being a predator, and had to click off. If we're talking about Shannon falsely accusing people, this guy called this other YouTube a predator for being interviewed by a minor fan and him having a low voice. How fucking R-word do you have to be? The self-posting bullshit here is annoying, especially from the Vic Blanco R-word. And then there is a screenshot from D'Angelo's, two of D'Angelo's tweets. The reason I've never made a video about lolcow is because they're just not interesting enough to be profitable. If lolcow videos did well, I'm sure I'd have a whole catalog, because if there's one thing I love more than attention from anonymous image boards, it's money. Whoever posts my tweets on lolcow, hurry up, I'm bored, I want to see the response. And Shannon allegedly responded, he's worse than Creepshow. At least she has the ability to grow and is doing something completely different than what she started with. He's doing the same thing on repeat, acting like he's doing something big, and now admits to creeping on lolcow. Last one is about Ready to Glare, which is, she is to quote-unquote women are predators to guys, as Blair White is to quote-unquote trans people are weird. These trans people are weird. Most of her posts are either about her own online persona and content, or about her drama with @ahopelesspeach and @TobyMajestic, in which she calls Hopeless Peaches a leech who quote-unquote sucks Creepshow's dick, and Toby quote-unquote Shannon 2.0. Too many posts to even screenshot, link at the end of thread. She loves talking shit about ArtTubers and calling some of them T-slur and F-slur, a slur towards trans men. And then there's a little Discord thing that I'm not going to read. Mistaking uncle for a T-slur, the insults have come full circle. I like how the other comment in this thread talks about men fetishizing lesbians. I mean, for Christ's sakes, it's always in the top 5 categories for Pornhub. No sane person cares about Holly. No sane person cares Holly is a, I don't know what that word is, so I don't really want to say it. Only F-slur would whine about something like this. Who's going to talk about the fact that racist uncles in a green card marriage with a fat autistic man who has a hand fetish? I mean, you could ask racist uncle the same question about why she's so obsessed with Holly Brown. She even goes through her hours-long live streams and is obsessed with every little thing about her. Really though, I understand Holly Brown has several threads here. She's milky and cringy. Racist uncle is just like her, chubby, ugly, bad at art. Yet she also has tricked herself into thinking she's good and she's a pick-me while we're at it. For how much she likes to virtue signal about body positivity, she sure likes using chubby and fat as insults, as well as making fun of Saikuno's skin issues. So Saikuno uses those filters that beauty YouTubers use in order to appeal younger and more attractive. That's so weird. He literally has the most fucked up skin I have ever seen on an Asian man. The fact that the difference is that bad is insane. While being an outspoken fan of @Corpse and making videos about how toxic and mean the fandom is, she was lurking a thread that tried to dox him and posted in there making fun of his fans, saying a girl with a corpse tattoo had made herself unfuckable. And the thing goes, there is something so genuinely funny about a girl getting an avatar tattooed under her boobs. She'd be unfuckable at that point. She manufactured her whole argument in which she played both sides to make herself look bad. Good? I don't even know at this point. All the posts outlined in red are her. I'm not going to go through it. I have no time to argue with myself. She bragged about her finances, insisting multiple times that she makes a specific amount. She also bragged about her friends' follower counts and how influencers are scared of her. You have some tweets on the side. Loey Lane, who has 2 million YouTube subs, Tom Harlick, who has 900,000 YouTube subs, and Jake Yonsei, who has like 90k subs, have all tweeted/commented about Lily Jean because of Shannon. My guess is Shannon is going to get her friends involved. I think Holly is laying low because she's scared of CS, Creepshow. Creepshow has been asking for people to DM her about Holly's Kickstarter, and I feel like another video is coming. She says she doesn't rely on YouTube, but I think she makes a considerable amount on it. I've talked to a YouTuber her size, and they make at least 20k per month. That mixed with her real life job, she's probably loaded pretending to be poor. I have a close friend who does YouTube, has less subs than Shannon, and makes 20k a month. Shannon is at least earning that much. She said she moved a couple of months ago and hasn't complained about neighbors or anything in a while. I am pretty sure she is living in a nice place currently because she hasn't pity posted about it. Side note, the red quote-unquote "this is not okay" text was added by admins after the fact to help readers identify her post and is a reference to show how she has a million videos with that title. I am not going to touch on all the weird comments she made, putting herself down to manufacture drama and hate. At one point, she was making videos about a woman who is now understood to be very mentally unwell with paranoid schizophrenia, but Shannon is still posting in her thread, telling others how to keep finding her accounts. I'm not going to be reading that one because I don't feel really comfortable doing that. Her self-promotion and sleazy ways of trying to drum up fan hype for herself on lolcow, of all places, are honestly the least disgusting aspect about this. I'm at awe at how two-faced she is. And then Dish Soap 123 continues by explaining how they know that this is Creepshow art Shannon and not just some random person, as we will be getting into with her response. Alright, let's get into Shannon's response to the whole thing. So Shannon posted on her community tab saying, "This post is going up because I need to talk about this and let you know what's going on. Earlier today, I got a message saying that I had doxed a relative, that I had been called out for saying certain things about myself and other creators and more on a hate forum. And I was confused because I hadn't done that. I would remember doing that, especially the doxing. That's so firmly against what I stand for, and I don't believe in doing that, even to someone I loathe. However, after being sent screenshots of what I allegedly said about me, myself, my friends, and most importantly, my relative, I realized what had happened. A couple of years back, I made a video about how I had been stalked for over 8 years by a woman I called Amy. That's not her real name because I was protecting her identity. I talked in detail about that situation, how it affected me, and what I had to do in that situation to keep myself safe. But I also discussed how Amy and I kind of reconciled at the end of that and came to an understanding. She even liked the video and supported me making it. We kept in contact over the past couple years, and I thought I kept a good amount of distance between us, never letting her close enough to hurt me again. Apparently, I am really shitty at that. Obviously, I was wrong because she has gone back to doing what she has always done, which is to try and hurt me, try to turn the people in my life against me, and salivate at the idea of me losing everything. She did this for years, even when I didn't have anything, to the point where when I was dating my husband, she sent him text messages telling him I was a horrible person and he should leave me. She made fake Facebook accounts to tell people what a terrible person I was, and she spent years fucking with me nonstop, to the point where I just wanted to end it all. I had a sneaking suspicion she had been going back to this earlier this year when I started receiving more and more images of self-harm and abuse in my inbox. Because that was one of the biggest things she would do to me. I didn't want to believe it though, because I am a polarizing creator and some people on the internet just don't have boundaries. It's why I had to shut down my Instagram and low-key why I had to shut down Twitter. I stated publicly and behind the scenes that the amount of harassment I have received has gone down by 100% when I deleted Twitter, and now I know why, because of Amy. When she was harassing me in high school, I would get so many images of self-harm and self-injury that it would cause me to shut down emotionally, and I had confided in her when we were friends that was one of my biggest sore spots. Seeing someone like that was just the number one way to hurt me online. When it started happening in excess again, I started to think that maybe it was her. Maybe she had gone back to that way of being. I didn't want to think that because we had been so good the last time we talked. The last time we emailed, it had been lovely, with her catching me up on my life and me doing the same back. I didn't know she was going to use everything to try and paint me as someone I am not. I didn't think I needed to use a VPN so she wouldn't get my IP address. She has shown me pictures of her daughter and been so supportive of my channel. I thought we were okay, but I was wrong. Because she's been posting on certain sites posing as me, spoofing my IP, doxing my family members, writing things about myself and my friends, sending me death threats from other accounts, making false accounts to spam my comment sections, spamming the comment section of my friends, saying hateful things about me in order to get them to drop me, and just all around doing what she did years ago. That's not it, of course, but the amount of time and energy she has put into this is well beyond what I thought she was capable of. And as far as I can tell, she's been doing this for well over a couple of years. That is not to say I haven't messed up or been rightfully criticized, mind you. I am not blaming her for people being critical of me. I don't know how she did it, I don't know why she did it, but the moment my relative was brought up out of the blue, I knew it was her. She has literally always been obsessed with my relative, to the point of constantly bringing them up in our conversation, asking me about them, and using them to hurt me even in high school. So I am sending out a cease and desist, and if it comes to it, I will be filing a full restraining order. I don't want to do that because she has a daughter, and this will go on her record, which will keep her from being able to get a job and providing for that child. And I keep going in circles in my head about this because I don't know what's right in this situation. But I also don't want this to continue. I just want this to be done. All I have ever wanted was for this to be done, and it's getting to the point where I have to protect myself and my family. I just wanted to update you guys because there is a narrative floating around now that I said terrible things about myself and doxed a relative of mine online, and it's not fucking true. All I can say is that it's not fucking true. I completely understand if no one believes me. I understand if I lose friends over this, but the fact that it's been over 10 years of this shit is exhausting. The fact that 2 fucking years ago I made a video about this exact thing happening, about this person doing this to me, going to these extremes, hopefully says a lot. This has been going on for nearly half of my fucking life, and I am tired of it. I am going to be keeping the rest of this offline where it belongs, so if you have any questions, I'm sorry, I'm not answering them. But I wanted to address it. Again, I talked about this 2 fucking years ago, only to have her go around and do this shit again. I am learning every day how much time she dedicated to harassing me, and it goes deeper than I ever thought. Now, I want to talk about spoofing the IP address. I'm not a tech guru, but many people have talked about this. I recommend watching Omnia's second video where Kai breaks this down in layman's terms. While it is alleged, the IP address from Shannon's posts and devices match up. The MAC address, which is more concrete, so I've heard, line up, and even the cookies. As Kai explains, cookies are even imprinted onto your device, so no matter what, they'll be concrete because it's literally unique to you. Whenever you go on a website and they say use cookies, they're leaving a little piece of themselves on your device, which allows for them to send you targeted ads. And obviously, it's even bigger than that, but you get my point. You get my point. And even if we just focus on the IP, Shannon in those years has moved. I remember watching a video of hers, which is most likely private now, where she stated she moved to Nevada about a year ago, meaning she'd have another IP address. Not to mention she used multiple devices. I know from watching her, she has an iPad, a phone, which has been stated that it is an iPhone, and a Mac laptop. So it's more likely that she has the one posting, or Amy needs to be hired by the FBI. Like, Amy, leave Shannon alone, because if this is true that it's Amy, she spoofed IPs up the wazoo, which is apparently impossible, especially for novice hackers. Not impossible, but it's extremely hard. And spoofing IPs is literally only used for DDoS attacks. So she was spoofing multiple IPs up the wazoo for 3 years when Shannon has literally moved from whole ass states, right? Not to mention she got this IP address from a Google account, which has two-factor authentication and is extremely hard to get an IP address from a Gmail account, was able to spoof it and did that for 3 years. So, Amy, I'm going to need you to stop using your incredible hacking abilities to hack Shannon to post on lolcow, even praising her, to, like, work at the FBI. Work at the CIA. Like, you're gonna solve so many crimes. Amy, girl, Amy, it's time to upgrade. Ready to Glare is a commentary channel. At first, Ready to Glare or Julia tried to be on Shannon's side since they were really close friends. They had even met up in person. They had talked about one another on their channels and just on their social media. They even collaborated once for a video about Nikita Dragun's biphobia. She had screenshotted the community post that Shannon had made and tweeted that she's posting it just in case it gets deleted because Shannon was quote-unquote hacked before all of this happened. And basically what happened is that her profile picture and her banner were just glitch pictures and all of her community posts were gone. So I'm assuming because of that quote-unquote hacking that Julia reposted it on her Twitter, afraid that it would be deleted. When lolcow admins basically confirmed to everyone that this couldn't have been another person except for Shannon, Julia deleted that tweet and tweeted saying, my heart fucking hurts, and talked about in that thread how one of her friends on YouTube, or ex-friends on YouTube, had lied about offing themselves, about committing the unalive, gotten a counselor or someone to email Julia about it, and at the end of the day they were still alive and just saying mean shit about her on lolcow. So she already has that trauma against the website, and then to have this backstabbing occur, just, oh god. She has since made a video talking more in depth again about that, and about her and Shannon's friendship. The one thing that I would like to focus on mostly about her and Shannon's friendship is the fact that after all of this had come out, Shannon had sent Julia like a bouquet of flowers, and a lot of people and I believe that Shannon did that because she was just trying to manipulate Julia by being like, oh look, I got you flowers. And this form of manipulation is actually called love bombing, which is basically when someone like shoves their love down your throat, like intensely, says nothing for like a while, and then shoves their love down your throat. I would highly recommend you watch Tamimi's video, which will be linked down below, where she discusses her feelings about being love bombed. But a lot of people and I believe that that is why Shannon sent Julia the flowers. Honestly, I just really commend Julia for being able to speak out about this, especially within like a week or something. And we will be talking about why her response was so quickly and why that frustrates me. Okay, so Hopeless Peaches is another art commentary channel. We're gonna have to backtrack a little bit. Hopeless Peaches was a friend of Shannon's, and last year they got into a huge fight where multiple creators called out Peaches. Shannon made 2 videos against Peaches. I'm going to link those down below. Actually, I'll have a Google Drive that someone compiled on Twitter with all the videos that Creepshow or Shannon has privatized, because I don't think those are up on her channel. A lot of her videos are not up on her channel currently. And I'll also link videos discussing the Hopeless Peaches drama, because as you can see, this video is extremely long and we do not have time to get into that. Due to all the commotion about Shannon on lolcow, Peaches decided to come out with a video of her own where she showed screenshots of emails where Shannon allegedly gaslit and threatened Peaches.
Feel less alone about it. So in her second video on me, she accused me of handing out her phone number to people in order to discredit me. I heard about this early as she put it on her YouTube membership and one of my friends watched it. I panicked and emailed Shannon if she could remove that one part of the video. Not the whole video, just that one part, as I was scared of being revenge doxxed by her friends or fans. Her response is to latch onto the fact that I mistook it as a Patreon early access and not a YouTube members access. A small nitpick that doesn't change anything. And then goes ahead to say that if I didn't dox her, it would somehow be worse? How do you not see doxing as a bad thing? Whatever. I can share the full context of DMs without doxing you, Shannon. Actually, the phone number was way before the conversation I was referring to anyway. But she doubled down and twisted this to make me look like a manipulator on her YouTube comment section. Okay, but not to get bitchy, but Shannon, you had access to the same Instagram chats and your only screenshot you took was a severely cropped picture that actually went against what you said in the last video, so I don't know, that's really weird. Regardless, not the point. I reply with a definition of doxing and just asking her to stop twisting what I was saying. The next email she sent was a lot. Most of it was a lot to do with just the drama we were in, and not a lot of it is kind of relevant now. So, I don't really wish to tread on old ground as much as possible. I'll just share what I felt at the time was either gaslighting or threatening. So she first defends her twisting my concern for my own safety into saying it was showing context. I don't see how this is showing context. This is literally you trying to spark more drama instead of taking out a small section of your video claiming I was sharing your private information. I even sent you, in my previous email before then, a comment from one of her fans taking it as me doing that. Anyway, so in this part of the email, I wouldn't really consider it gaslighting if it was public. However, this is emails between just us two. and she disregards the fact I ever made an apology to her before the drama. I shared screenshots, even within the document that Shannon was even reacting to in this video. And those screenshots were from June of 2020. The fact that this paragraph just whittles down to all I should do is apologize and not defend myself against her accusations is really telling, especially when she only just called me a doxer and then denied doing so to my face. Okay, so this is the bit that really started to scare me. So she continues to gaslight me further by saying I was making up her accusing me of sharing her phone number, which is documented in the actual video, so I don't know. As well as saying that she never accused Carmen of being sexist. Watch my video response for more info. It's a lot and it gets confusing. Anyway, she states how if she actually did it, there would be hellfire. Bearing in mind this video just came out and I already expressed concern that I was really scared of that being a possibility. So I don't know how... That just felt like rubbing it in, really, to just stress me out, so something to note. Finally, she then states how I was supporting someone who wished her to have COVID. She states I was supporting somebody who wished her to die. This person, mind you, said this on a server I don't own, wasn't moderating at the time, and I was not even present for when it was said. If she brought it up to my attention, that's fine. That's fine. But the way she swears blind at 100%, I 100% support this. Support this death wish. It started to give me like a panic attack. I was terrified that she would then start telling everyone that I wished death on her when I didn't. And I don't think I can emphasize enough how distressing it was that Shannon was accusing me of supporting a death wish on her with literally no evidence. I've tried for a while to just think of how to express that kind of anxiety, but I just can't, so here she just confirms she only made the video because she was being called out with evidence about her lies against me. Which, by the way, in the document they never called you a liar, they just said if this is true, if this is the only evidence. Anyway, considering how I came to her in a panic for my own safety because of her doxing allegation, and then she went and openly started twisting my words to make me look worse, it really feels like this video was just made out of spite. Okay, and now this bit was just another part that really began to panic me. If I'm completely honest, reading it still kind of makes me feel anxious. It felt like a threat. I think I would go so far as to say, without a doubt, it is one. This all started because I simply asked, out of concern, to just take out one accusation from her video, and I was being threatened with more. Not only if I, but if anyone else made a video in my favour or shared proof of her lying about me. I mean, it now seems she was bluffing, as the writers of the document Spivey and Scritus did respond, as well as others creators such as Just the Robot, Just Stop, etc. But in the moment, it does feel like I was stuck between a rock and a hard place. I didn't want to be labelled as someone who was wishing death on her. I didn't want to be labelled as someone who would wish death on anyone. I didn't want to be labelled as a doxer. And she was threatening me out of being able to even defend myself in any capacity. I didn't want to get more harassment. But even if others made videos in response to her, I felt like I was at risk of her doing all of this stuff. So, I emailed her back and tried to calm things down by reaching out to the user she accused me of supporting to try and calm things down. Considering she disliked me pointing out how she was directly supporting Luke's claims of me suicide baiting, which would be, hypocritical of her to ignore that, but link me with this other user. I don't know, it just felt like I was just being unheard. So, okay, we finally ended our email. You may recognize this. I shared this online in hopes of making her feel less hostile against me. However, in my initial post, I did screw out the part of her reminding me of her threat towards me. Her threat of exposing me as being someone who wishes death on her. It felt really backhanded and honestly more threatening with how she reminded me in such a weird, friendly fashion. I did lie to her somewhat though by stating my Twitter apology was the last thing I was going to say on the matter, though I don't know if you could really count it as lying in the moment, as I really didn't know if I could continue trying to bring all the information to light with this kind of threat over my head. I have to admit, this interaction really did scare me a lot, and I hate to say it, but it contributed somewhat to my mental decline. And I'm sorry, but I just felt threatened, like I couldn't speak. To be threatened in such a way, with such a serious allegation as supporting a death wish, it fucked me up. It was fucked up. I don't know. Again, I've been trying to think of how to properly articulate this, but I don't think I can. I'm sorry that I couldn't read out those emails, but they were kind of getting to me. So hopefully you didn't just blindly listen to me, that you did pause and read the emails properly. Okay? That I didn't want you to just listen to me. I just personally couldn't read them. I just want to kind of leave this here. And I just wanted to share this experience as it does kind of line up a lot with other things coming out about Shannon. And I personally just now feel like, well, the bubble's burst. And I need to share it. It's upsetting.
Since Peaches has made this video, she went on someone else's live stream. Sadly, the other person's live stream, Peanut, as she's referred to, her channel was deleted off of YouTube. I believe she's on Twitch right now, so I'll leave a link to her Twitch. And Peaches has also made her own live stream talking about the situation, and I'll leave a link to it down below. Besties, I am so sorry for this next section. Oh god. Emily Artful is another commentator channel who has been allegedly stalked and harassed by Shannon and her partner, Anthony Parker, who is Emily's ex, for 10 to 12 years. Emily came out on Twitter with a thread and stated, "This just needs to be said. This woman has tormented me for years and years. I know her because my ex-boyfriend dated her after me. I moved on, but she/they continue to harass and stalk me." And she attached the following: "I am currently shaking and crying because Creepshow art is finally being exposed for the absolute terrible person she is. I have known Shannon for many years, even years before she started her YouTube channel. She has copied, stalked, harassed, and threatened me and my children's lives. She has used revenge porn against me, tried to use my drug addiction against me. She has literally gotten me fired from multiple jobs, causing me to be homeless. This person has pushed me to the brink of suicide multiple times and then tried to blame it on a mutual friend when I finally caught her red-handed by tracing her IP. Shannon, you are Amy. All the things you claim, quote-unquote, Amy did to you are the things you did to me. Receipts to come, I've got years worth of them." And the thread continues by saying, "The fact that she is saying her quote-unquote stalker did all of this to frame her is fucking hilarious because she has literally been making fake quote-unquote Emily Artful accounts over the internet for years trying to cancel me over the most random shit. What's even more fucked up is she'd fabricate this drama and then make sock puppet accounts posing as a viewer, quote-unquote concerned, and then would send me screenshots that she took. When she first started out doing YouTube, she would deliberately copy my thumbnails or titles, then message me under a sock puppet account saying, 'Oh my god, Creepshow art is copying you,' egging me to attack her. But guess what? I never did. I very politely asked her to maybe change her title, but also said it's her channel and she could do whatever she wants with it. She was very nice in response and agreed to change it. Mind you, I still had no idea who she was at this point. Then I guess she went on lolcow to claim that quote-unquote Emily Artful is bullying small creators with zero proof because, as I said, I was very polite. Then she screenshot that post and sent it to me under another sock puppet account. I didn't put two and two together for a long time. She stated she was going to get her receipts together and make a video. This video dropped a couple of days ago, I think a week ago by the time that I'm recording this audio. Oh god. It's 2 hours long and filled with receipts. Again, I recommend you watch it yourself. I know it's extremely long, but it is extremely informative. And remember, this is like 10 to 12 years worth of shit. I've watched it several times and I wrote notes on it. I used Kai Weiss's video to help me write notes for this section of the video. He compiled all the allegations levied towards Shannon and Anthony into a 30-minute video, and I'll leave it linked down below. This is not everything that Emily has to say, so please go watch her video, and let's begin. Emily opens her video up by sitting down, introducing herself, and stating that for many years she was stalked and harassed by Shannon and her husband, Anthony Parker. She explains the pain she's felt over the past few years. She makes an appeal to them of sorts and tells Shannon to get up and look at herself in the mirror, reflect, and get help. Emily states that she originally censored Anthony's name and called him Andrew throughout the video, but decided not to due to all the pain she went through at his hands. Emily makes a disclaimer stating that she does not have many receipts, however, she has enough to prove her story. She states she wants people to look at the evidence she has and form their own conclusions. Emily breaks down who she is and how she struggled with drug addiction since she was 14 years old. She also struggled with an eating disorder and several other mental health issues. She is now 7 years sober, which I commend her for. That's extremely amazing. This story begins when she was about 18 to 20 years old and was a gig musician playing at Nickel City Arcade in San Jose, California. This is where she met Anthony. Emily exclaims that this relationship was toxic and codependent and gives us examples of such. This relationship was very short, and Emily states how Anthony had very aggressive tendencies where he punched holes in walls and I guess that's the best way I could put it, the Columbine shooters with his friend Brandon. Emily claims Anthony cheated on her multiple times, sending explicit images to other women. However, the relationship ended because Emily had commented on an openly gay friend's post praising them. Because of this, Brandon called Emily and began degrading and threatening her. Emily went to Anthony's place of employment to talk this out with him. He was not in that day, but Shannon was. They did not talk or interact, though, because Emily saw that he was not there and she left. After a while, Anthony texted Emily and apologized to her. They entered a flirtationship for a bit, but Emily ended it, and then they ended up having a more professional relationship. Anthony sent Emily an MP3 of a song he was working on. When Emily heard it, she heard another woman's vocals on it, and she thought they were weak. That's what she said. She bashed the girl on the track, saying that she would be better on it, and the girl on the track was Shannon. Emily exclaims she said this because she was in an extremely controlling relationship, and along with all her other issues at the time, felt like her only way out was to be a bitch. Listen guys, she said this herself, don't cancel me. And she was very anti-SJW and very anti-feminism. She ended up replacing Shannon's vocals and acted in the music video. I, along with many others, believe that this was the inciting incident for Shannon's behavior, at least what tipped her over the edge into disliking Emily. It was after these remarks that she began receiving hate online and friend requests from accounts that allegedly belonged to Shannon and or Anthony. They locked Emily out of her original Facebook account by phishing her. On that account, there were compromising pictures of Emily, some from when she was 15. These pictures were from when she was forced into being a cam girl by another man who was extremely controlling. These pictures were saved into a photo bucket account, and to this day, Emily is still locked out of her original Facebook account. Through these pictures, she was body shamed. Her stalker then emailed some of these pictures to her employer when she was trying to get her life together, and she was ultimately fired from this job and ended up being homeless. In post, she states how she found a video from Anthony's channel on how he and his friends had chosen to be homeless. Many people have been focusing heavily on this because Shannon talked heavily about her PTSD due to her homelessness. In her response video to Toby's video, she used her homelessness as a shield in a way for why she couldn't go back to her old content. Personally, since I was an avid watcher of Shannon's for years and watched a lot of her videos, I already knew that she had chosen to be homeless. I remember that she had, again, mentioned this in, one of her videos or something like that, an older-esque video. To be honest, and, I may seem naive to some, but even though it was a choice for her and her partner to do that, it wasn't because they couldn't afford rent or they were evicted or whatever happened, right? Even though it was a choice, she could still be, really affected by it. People make choices that affect them negatively. She can still have trauma from this, no matter what, if she chose to or not. So I don't really understand why we're bashing her for choosing to be homeless, because at the end of the day, that's still not easy, whether it was a choice or not. Again, I may seem naive because some people think they chose the quote-unquote van life, and they had arranged it for 6 months prior. But still, maybe I'm just naive. I don't know. Moving on, in light of her sobriety, Emily created the Emily Artful channel on May 14th, 2014. 2 years later, on May 3rd, 2016, Shannon created the Creepshow art channel. When Shannon began posting on her channel, Emily began receiving hate comments en masse, saying either that Emily was a copy of Creepshow art or that Creepshow art was a copy of Emily. Some even told Emily that Shannon had copied a series that Emily made called Sketchbook Storytime. Emily DM'd Shannon and they had a pleasant conversation about it, where Shannon even agreed to changing the name of the series, which is the conversation that was referenced in the tweets. Just wanted to clear that up. That's the conversation that Emily is referring to. Emily ended up following Shannon on Instagram to show that there was no hard feelings. A sock puppet account called Brianna Lang reached out to Emily to claim that it looked like Emily was wearing a hijab in her profile picture. The account continues by saying that Creepshow art had been copying Emily's channel. Emily responds that she and Creepshow art have similar vibes and she's cool with Shannon. The sock puppet account then compliments Emily's response and blocks her. After this, one of Emily's videos went viral and she took to Twitter to talk about it. Anthony started following Emily and said that she had bought views and it didn't really go viral because it only got 200,000. Which is funny because Emily's video coming out about her story and the shit she went through because of them has 2.6 million. When I was writing this script a couple of days ago, it had 2.2 million, which is what I have in my script. And now it's at 2.6 million, as you saw from the screenshot that I took today on Father's Day, the 20th of June. But that's besides the point, because 200 is still a large amount of views, especially for a channel that was Emily's size at the time. He had responded to Emily and another person who was congratulating her by saying, "That's not viral, you bought views, blah, 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 blah." And then he responds to Emily alone, asking her why she blocked him, telling people that she's a blocker and a meanie. and putting hashtag Black Lives Matter. Truly peak comedy. I've never laughed so hard in my life. That was sarcasm, by the way, in case anyone needs a tone indicator. I'm being sarcastic. After this quote-unquote interaction, an account called Not Viral Emily, or Aja, DMs her making similar claims as Anthony. She details this more later on.
Tweet at me, replying just to me this time. He says, also, why do you keep blocking me? Hey everyone, she's a blocker and a meanie. Hashtag Black Lives Matter. Because I guess he thought that was funny. And then all of a sudden, moments later, I get a DM on Twitter from an account literally named notviral_Emily. And in this DM, it has my Social Blade stats. Basically circling and insinuating that I had paid for these views, because I guess at this point Andrew had no idea how the YouTube algorithm works, and sometimes a video is just heavily promoted. This just dawned on me. Wouldn't it be crazy if they spent money to buy views for my channel so they could accuse me of spending money to buy views for my channel? Let me be clear right now, by the way, I have never bought views, bought subscribers, bought any form of promotion. I've never bought an ad for myself. I don't do that. I'm adamant about that. So pretty irritating having someone come in and accuse me of that. And so then this Not Viral Emily, aka Aja, says, so you paid for these. That much is obvious. And I say, no, I actually didn't. If you look my video, You Are Not an Artist, around that same time, you'll see it got really big. All those subs were most likely gained from that video. I have a child now. I gotta spend my cash on diapers and formula, dude. It's a waste of money to buy subs. Not Viral Emily responds, sure. What you just said further implies buying subs, you see. The idea behind just buying views/subs for one video would be smart, if it wasn't so horribly shown. So you're telling me none of those viewers browse your other videos? 'Cause looking at them, they didn't. Nice try, though. Better luck next time. Also, 200,000 isn't viral. It's silly no one else has called you out on it, because damn, it is so obvious. Hey guys, future Emily here again. So while I was recording, I noticed something really interesting. So for the screenshot that I took of my Social Blade stats back at the time, this sock puppet account was accusing me of buying subs and views. You can notice the spike in subs and views starts at the end of September and goes into the first week of October until about the 7th, and then it goes down from there. Unfortunately, I only took that one screenshot, but if I look at my analytics, it looks like somewhere in there is where I got that spike in views and subscribers. Now, if we go over to the screenshots I took of Anthony's messages as well as the sock puppet account's messages, you'll see I took those screenshots on October 23rd, 2017, and that was the last time that these screenshots were at all messed with. Now, just because I remember to take screenshots on that day doesn't mean that is when I received those messages. But if we look at this screenshot right here, you can see that the sock puppet account sent me their original message on Saturday at 10:58 a.m. Now, for something like that, I probably would have responded right away, so I didn't see it until 8:59 p.m., but it was still on the Saturday. Now, October 23rd in 2017 fell on a Monday, so I can only assume that the messages sent by the sock puppet and Anthony came then the Saturday before the 23rd, which was the 21st. Can I just say that I'm super glad most social media now includes the date next to the timestamp? Because remember, after Anthony was tweeting at me, accusing me of buying subscribers, only moments later did a sock puppet account accuse me of the same thing. Nobody else did. Just Anthony and this sock puppet account. And you can see that I was reacting to both of them at very similar times because, like I said, I responded to that sock puppet account at 8:59 p.m. and then privately messaged Anthony at 9:30 p.m. on that same day. I just find it oddly suspicious that Anthony just decides out of the blue to go looking for me a week and a half within the first time one of my videos quote unquote blow up, because now I'm second guessing everything. As you can see see there is a pattern of behavior. Anytime I experience even a modicum of success, he just has to destroy it. He has to attempt to crush my motivation. That seems like their main goal is to absolutely crush my motivation and get me to stop doing the things that I like and that I love. Any good thing that happens to me, they have to find out, hack my email, my Facebook, find out what's good in my life and try to ruin it. Relationships, YouTube, anything, my income, they just don't want me to succeed. And this seems to be a pattern. Just by the way, all the lolcow posts, I was reading through them. This is a pattern.
Since Emily followed Shannon, she had seen one of Shannon's posts, and it was a drawing that looked similar to Anthony. And she saw in the caption that Shannon is with Anthony, that they were either working together or that they were, dating each other. After she states this, she goes into detail about the things that Anthony did to her, such as having intercourse with her. Meanwhile, she was unconscious due to her drug usage, which I know is another word, but I'm not going to be saying that word. Emily then recounts, after she stated that, Emily recounts the details between her and a Snapchat account. The Snapchat account sent a picture that resembled a location in her area or near her. She did not screenshot the original message, but she screenshotted everything else.
One day I just received a completely random Snapchat photograph of what looked like a specific square in the city that I lived in, with some nonsensical text overlaid on top. I don't have the initial Snapchat because I just kind of froze in panic, but I do have the response to that Snapchat. I wrote, "Are you in my city?" And Kilgore Trout is the name that they chose this time. And they said, "Somewhere, I suppose, in its labyrinth." And then you can see I started typing back, "You are fucking insane." Now, I'm sorry for the ableist language I was using here. I was so freaked out. You guys have no idea the level of fear that I had in this moment. I was 100% convinced that this person, Andrew or Shannon or whoever, was in my city and they were going to hurt me. You can see I said, "Answer me. You drove all the way here?" And they said, "I don't have a driver's license yet. My parents drove me here." And here is where I believe that they're starting to set up breadcrumbs that the person who is stalking me is a minor, which I find this is what's disturbing. Shannon and Andrew both, and specifically Shannon, really, the manipulation, the intense orchestration of all of this, the sock puppet accounts, this is disturbing to me because they covered their tracks as far back as, I think this was 2017. This is how deeply disturbed these individuals are. So I say, why? And then they say, "I have prolonged fits of daydreaming at times." Just this really, and I know it may not seem scary to some people, but to me, this is so messed up. I 100% believe that this person was in my city looking for me so that they could kill me. Like I had mentioned before, Andrew and his friend Brandon discussed at length about going into their old high school and shooting it up. They also completely idolized Heath Ledger's Joker from The Dark Knight. They just thought he was like the most chaotic evil, the most amazing, cool villain ever. Andrew had discussed donning a mask, kidnapping the people who made fun of him in high school, and torturing them. This is what was coming to the forefront of my mind when I was receiving these Snapchats. I'm going to include some of the photograph Snapchats now. I don't know if they're in the right order, because there was a lot of just nonsensical talk and they don't have their original file names. So I'm not exactly sure, but I think I have them in the right order because eventually he stopped talking to me through the Snapchat chat and just through the images. And you can see how I'm so afraid of him. I start to do that tend and befriend thing. I try to approach him with a softness, just trying to get to that part of him, that little piece of him that is human. And I know some people are going to use this to doubt my validity and be like, well, if you're really scared, why were you being so nice to him? Again, I was trying so hard to tap into that human emotion so he wouldn't come to my fucking house. I was terrified. I'm sorry, but you would never know what you would do in that situation until you're actually in it. So I just want to say that. I'm looking here. I'm a little confused because I have two screenshots. The one where I say, "Are you in my city?" And then he says somewhere, I suppose, and it's Labyrinth. But I also have a screenshot from the exact same day that I say, "Are you in my city?" And then I say, "That's no proof that you're here," assuming I'm responding to a Snapchat photograph. And then I say, "It breaks my heart that you do this, that you want to hurt me. I wish you'd put that energy into your music. You have so much potential and you're wasting it all on this obsession with me." I don't know. Maybe I asked, "Are you in my city?" twice. I'm not 100% sure, but here are those two screenshots. At this point, I did know that Shannon and Andrew were in a relationship, but I was still kind of under the impression that Andrew was just doing this on his own and that Shannon had no idea. Now, the reason I didn't go and tell Shannon was because I, again, am terrified of this person. I didn't want to rock the boat. I literally just wanted them to leave me the fuck alone. Now, I don't have a screenshot of this, but I did send a message to him saying, "Do not come to my home. I have a security animal," which is 100% true. Osa is not only an emotional support dog, she is also a trained security dog. I also let him know that I have a gun in the home that I have access to and that I know how to use. And that if he tried to hurt me, that I would be forced to have to defend myself. And at this point, I had the gun. Like, I had the gun out and ready. I was fully prepared for him to come to this house and to hurt me. At this point, I was not only thinking about him fantasizing about shooting up his high school, about tormenting his ex-classmates. I was not only thinking about how he was perfectly comfortable having sex with me while I was half unconscious. I was not only thinking about the emotional abuse he put me through in our relationship, how afraid he made me. But I was also thinking about the pure dedication over, at this point, would have been 7 or 8 years of him obsessively, constantly making sock puppet accounts, harassing me, belittling me, shaming me, trying to trigger my eating disorder. This man was the definition of obsessed. After I told him, "Do not come to my house. I have a security dog and a weapon in my home," he said, "The valiant taste of death, but once. Cowards fear it many times." In the very first Snapchat that he sent me that I was not able to capture, there was the business Loft in it, and we have a loft here in our city in a very specific town square. So I was under the impression that he was in this town square because the architecture was very similar. This is why I was under the impression that he was in our city. So for some reason, I just don't have a screenshot of me asking this, but I said, "Are you near the loft in our city or your city?" To which he responds with this: "There is, alas, only one loft. Infinite copies of voids upon voids, reflected, as it were, into the greater void of perception, that which is named but not known, in which loft is one of any possible combination of voids, infinite yet distinct." So at this point, my emotions were very mixed. I'm like, is he trying to be funny or is he trying to be poetically terrifying? He then sends me this: "All art is to be, alas, a reflection of its creators, humans who have been called to fill that void with art. For example, the mind-bending, thumb-bending video, or the alternative art of Emily Artful, who have with this art only created a greater void." Essentially saying, like, you're just adding shit content to the internet. I also realized, or the alternative art of Emily Artful, who have with this art only created a greater void. Essentially saying, like, you're just adding shit content to the internet. I also realized at this point that he is pretty much trolling with the mind-bending, thumb-bending reference. I don't even know what that is. So I started to relax a little bit, and that's where I try to kind of tap into his human side, because again, I am still not 100% sure what his end game is here. What I say here is cut off, but I probably said something along the lines of, I don't understand why you think I'm so evil, that because I'm such a bad person in your eyes, that everything I create is somehow devoid of feeling. And then he sends, all art reflects the greater void of human limitations. Alas, Mother's Day cards and subscriber drawings are no exception. Only the mind-bending, thumb-bending video can transcend this void through its sheer bendery and avant-gardeness. So at this point, I'm like, okay, he's just mocking my content. Felt a little bit more relaxed, like I could kind of try to tap into that softer part of him. So I said, well, I drew my subs because I know they'd like that. I made my mom a Mother's Day card because I love her. And I make every mom in my life one every year. Yeah, sometimes they aren't the artiest of arts, but there's something I and others enjoy. It's kind of that simple. I then try to tap into that human side a little bit more. I say, by the way, I didn't realize Shannon was your girlfriend until I started following her on Instagram and she posted about working with you. I kind of panicked and unfollowed her. No disrespect, of course. I just don't want any contact. And the reason I've not told her about you harassing me is because I really don't want to ruin your life. I genuinely want you to be happy. I just couldn't bring myself to do it. It didn't feel right. Just don't come to my apartment and don't bother my family. You can keep making accounts and keep trying to prove that you're someone else. Keep telling me I'm awful or saying kill yourself. I have 100% undeniable proof it's you. You clicked the link. You gave me what I needed. I don't want to ruin your life, dude. I just want to be left alone. He says Mother's Day cards are shadow of the mind-bending, thumb-bending video. I may have to unsubscribe unless your content can reflect the profundity of the mind-bending, thumb-bending video with something that is not a lightweight craft or an update on your pregnancy. Again, I soften a little bit further and I say, lol, Andrew, okay, I will take that suggestion to heart. But can you please stop scaring me? Call me all the names in the world. Criticize my work. That's fine. But I am very protective of my family. And then I say, also, what did you think of the perfect poem? Was that okay? I feel like I put a lot of heart into that. And reading this disturbs me because I know myself. I hear and read that fear. I'm just like, please, can you stop scaring me? Please. I'm begging him. But I'm trying so careful not to set him off at the same time. And then I'm literally trying to appease him. If I make better content, if I make content that you don't deem as devoid and of emotion or of heart, that isn't unacceptable to you, will you leave me alone? That is how this is reading to me. He then says, Andrew knows not of the spiritual implications of the mind-bending, thumb-bending video. He is but a prole in that sense, trapped in the mechanisms of day-to-day life. Then he says, revamping your channel into a mind-bending, thumb-bending video parody account is the only way, I'm afraid. It's the only known method of putting the art back in Artful. Then later on, he says, every star in our galaxy will simultaneously explode if you fail to take what I have suggested to heart. And again, very trolly, but at the same time, it's still a veiled threat. Because this person is so unpredictable and unstable. Do I take that as him being a troll, or do I take that as a threat?
The three main takeaways from this interaction are, 1, how weirdly he talks. 2, how extremely fearful Emily is/was, and how she sounds fearful. You could tell she was scared at this point, obviously. And 3, the breadcrumb that this person leaves, that they're too young, they're a minor because they were too young to have a driver's license, and their parents had to drive them. Now we're going to get into the fact that Emily was friends with Chris, also known as the Rewired Soul, and basically she just really liked his content because he talked a lot about his own mental health struggles. But the Chris/Rewired Soul drama is basically that he moved away from talking about his own mental health struggles to speculate on other people's mental health struggles. And she received a DM from a Twitter account named datboy_xd, basically berating her sobriety and calling her a bad mother. This can be connected to Shannon through circumstantial evidence, because on lolcow, one of Shannon's posts is belittling Emily's mothering skills and saying that she tried to kill her eldest son twice, but when she couldn't get views for allegedly almost killing her son twice, she resorted to using her burnout for views. I suggest you just watch that clip of Emily's video. I'm not going to insert the clip in this video. One, this video is already like super long and we still have more receipts. And two, you're going to hear it better from Emily in her own video. I would just like to say on record that Emily did not attempt to kill her son. The thing is that her son has a respiratory illness that he was born with. Shannon also berated her on lolcow for having a shirt of her son on Redbubble. Like, it was a shirt with a picture of him on Redbubble, but she didn't even sell it. Like, so basically Shannon was claiming that Emily was using her son for money. She was exploiting her son, when in reality she was just selling that shirt to relatives, like giving that shirt to relatives. And Emily had also made a series for Halloween featuring her son, and Shannon was like, oh, that's exploitative. But in reality, it was just for fun. So Emily explains how she kept Shannon at arm's length for their own personal safeties. And then this is where shit hits the fan. Emily posted a story time about her worst experience with a YouTuber. And a lot of her viewers believed that it was Shannon. I think she said like it was a bunch of stock accounts and then like a handful of her own viewers. But I don't really know. At the end of the day, it was not about Shannon. Shannon posts on her story that she is not who Emily is speaking about, and mentions her own stalker story that's extremely similar to Emily's. I would like to note that in this post, Shannon states that her alleged stalker stalked her because she was stressed out and did not have another outlet for it, which resembles Emily's explanation for why she was rude to Shannon at the beginning. Remember with the MP3 thing, how Emily explains that she was extremely stressed out in a controlling relationship and did not have another outlet for her emotions besides being rude. I just wanted to point that out, but yeah. Or if we take Just Stop's theory on Shannon's alleged stalker, that Just Stop's theory is basically that Shannon is Emily. I mean, not Emily, Amy, right? Emily was right. She did choose a name similar to hers so that she could confuse people. Okay. If we take Just Stop's theory that Shannon is quote-unquote Amy, her stalker, this could be Shannon's explanation for doing what she did, right? Maybe she was extremely stressed out by Anthony's obsession with Emily and expressed it towards Emily. That could be it. I don't know. I'm just throwing theories out there. Don't come and harass me. But here is where Emily confronted Shannon and their exchange.
The people linking me to Emily Artful's video, I've seen it, and no, it wasn't me. Plays Shaggy in background. I've said multiple times that I won't collaborate with other YouTubers because I don't enjoy the implications people get from it. Even if this isn't what the person is thinking at the time, collaborating with someone is a business move. You gain from that partnership. And I never want to be in a position where someone thinks I owe my following, money, and success because of someone else. That's gross. Also, less exciting, and something I might open up more about, but for about 12 years now, I've been harassed online by the girl who catfishes me. I know it's her because she ended up admitting to it last year when I called her out on it, saying it was because she was stressed and didn't have another outlet for it. Also, she felt betrayed because I stopped responding to her emails after a while. Because of her harassing me, my boyfriend, my friends, and sometimes going as far as to try to get me fired, I don't trust people very easily online. Isn't that a coinky dink? That right there is the most passive-aggressive shit I have ever read, and is also one of the many breadcrumbs that she started leaving behind that she had a quote-unquote stalker named Amy. I think it's funny that she picked the name Amy. I think she deliberately picked a name that was very close to mine so that if I ever came out with allegations, she could be like, see, I even chose Amy because it sounds like Emily. And of course, she picked all the things that she did to me, so then I couldn't even come out if I wanted to, because then it would seem like I was copying her instead of her copying me. Now, the reason I think she started leaving breadcrumbs when she did is because that Snapchat exchange that I had with Andrew, I obviously screenshotted all of that. What does Snapchat do? When you screenshot, it notifies the other party. So at that point, they would have been made aware that I was compiling evidence against them. I had also stated publicly, whenever I had just mentioned my stalker in passing, that the way I'm trying to protect myself is saving everything. Now, because I didn't see Shannon's Instagram story right away, she ended up DMing me herself on
Hey, someone getting rid of this? Looks like it.
Instagram. Now, because we had that conversation about her potentially changing the name of her Storytime series, the message thread that Shannon and I had was not in message requests, therefore I was notified about it. Shannon says, "Gah, I'm sorry, I went on a rant from your video. For some reason, people are trying to insert me into it, which I get because I'm kind of a bitch. There's a fucking girl on here /YouTube and now Twitter who is just fucking relentless with this shit, and it's just goddamn annoying at this point. So I was just putting my 2 cents out there. Nothing but respect for you and your video. You're fucking dope as hell, and I'd never try to step on your toes. Really, Shannon? Also, props to you for not saying the name. That's a fucking classy move, my dude. You're 100% more mature than I am. That's another thing. I notice a lot of the like comments. If you guys can find like YouTube comments that are really like shitty and bitchy and have the word my guy or my dude, like that is Shannon. That is absolutely 100% Shannon. I think she realized that that was like outing her over time. So she even left a comment at one point on one of my videos referencing me saying my dude, because I've said it maybe once or twice ever. And she said, ugh, like people who say my dude like have an IQ of like 4. It was something really catty and terrible. So I just thought that was kind of funny. And after I read those messages, I just couldn't take it anymore. My adrenaline right now is literally like just so high because I remember that exact moment. My hand is literally shaking. I just feel like I could lift a car right now. I couldn't take it anymore. So I finally just decided I need to confront her because everything was falling into place. I knew exactly what she was doing. This exchange is going to be long. It is 41 screenshots long, so I'm going to try to get through it quickly, but I just want you to pay attention to how easily she manipulated me, took advantage of my kindness, of my willingness to give her the benefit of the doubt, and notice how she uses her fake stalker story to try to get some sympathy from me, weaken me, and then further manipulate me. Also, apologies in advance on the bottom where my empty text bubble should be. It says, because like I said, I don't want to hurt or ruin anyone's lives for every single screenshot, and there's like Shannon's little bubble above it. I don't know why that happened, but it's there, and for the sake of authenticity and time, I'm just going to go ahead and leave it in. Are you the one that's been stalking me, or is it Andrew? We can be candid now because I know it's one of you. Those fake accounts you've been making have led me right to Oregon. I suspected it was him at first when he went on a spree on his main account on Twitter, trying to convince my followers I bought my subscribers and my views. Almost immediately after he did that, a mysterious new Twitter account accused me of the same thing, also with an IP from that area in Oregon. When I first started to get harassed, you both must still have been in San Jose because that IP came from somewhere in San Jose. But at the time, I had no idea who it was. But now, over time, in order to protect myself and my family, I decided to get smarter. So I just really don't know if it's you or him. Either way, I've been giving all this information to the police, including the more accurate IP from that Lilly Singh account. All I ask is to be left alone by you and your boyfriend. It's been 8 years. I also forgot to mention that I baited that Lilly Singh account into clicking a link with an IP tracker that led me straight to their new location because they had since moved. Now, interestingly enough, one of the IPs that I had tracked to where they had lived before was from a library. Come to find out that when Shannon and Andrew were living in their car, they had used a library for their internet access, which I now know from watching some of Shannon's older videos.
Because when you live in a car, you don't have very basic things. Like, you don't have a kitchen, and you don't have a living room, and you don't have a bed, and you don't have a bathroom. So you have to kind of find ways to make up for those things. So for a kitchen, you can fool yourself and say, oh, I'm going to have salads at Walmart, I'll just go and eat really healthy, but most of the time you're having Taco Bell. For a living room, you have a Starbucks or a library because you can sit there essentially the entire day and no one cares.
So what our schedule basically was on a day-to-day basis was basically to get food at about 9 a.m. or so and make our way over to the library and set up so we could essentially work till about 2 or 3 and then get food again and then come back and work till about, I don't remember if it was 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. when it closed. But we basically worked there all day.
So that's an even stronger confirmation for me that, in fact, the person who was stalking me all this time was definitely Shannon and Andrew. Shannon says, literally neither, dude. I say, then why did your boyfriend go off on me randomly for quote-unquote buying subs and views, like from his actual account? This happened almost a year ago. Shannon says, look, honestly, I'm sorry from what you've gone through. I don't know you all that well, but accusing us of doing shit we don't know about isn't cool. Like, Andrew already told me that you thought he did it, and honestly, I didn't worry about it because it didn't seem like that big of a deal. Also, about the sub buying thing, I got message about that as well. Like 5 accounts messaged me, and I know they messaged other art YouTubers. They also messaged me edits of shit about you from before the Emily Artful account. Shit that is literally none of my business. That makes no fucking sense. Why would this person who has shit on me send stuff to Shannon but no other commentary drama channel? If they really had shit on me, don't you think they would really want to try to get it out there? No, this is just 1, a cover-up, and 2, this is her in a very roundabout, sneaky way, this is how manipulative she is, telling me that she still has those photographs of me. Hey, do you know those photographs where you're in compromising outfits and positions, and in some of those pictures you're a minor? Yes, I still have those. I said, look, all I'm saying is I want to be left alone. If it's not you, then great. But I just find it strange I have 0 contact with Andrew, and then he just explodes at me randomly from his personal account with his name attached to it. Shannon says, I feel ya, but I can guarantee it's not him. If you want to Skype or FaceTime, I'm up for it, because literally I have nothing to hide on this end. Yeah, you do, Shannon. Yeah, you do. And with that being said, Andrew has a trollish sense of humor. He thought it was funny, but I guess it crossed a line. I said, really? I don't believe that, because literally no other art YouTuber has said anything about that to me. I'm friends with a handful of them. Why just you? Please understand why this sounds strange. Shannon says, no, I get it. I had screenshots from them that they had sent to other people, and then when I went to report them, they deleted the account. I said, yeah, I get it would be like him if I had had any contact with him. He wasn't even following me at the time. It was 100% random. 100%. It was very confusing to me. I want you guys to remember what she says here. Shannon says, their name was also like Filter. They also had like a sob story about how you wronged them once upon a time. Again, none of this was my business. And Andrew told me about how you were harassed back in the day. So I just thought it was another one of those anime fanboys who wanted attention. Again, he thought it was funny. They had sent him shit and we don't have the time to mess with you. Honest to God. We've been homeless on and off, working shitty jobs and working on our art a lot. Like, we don't have time to obsess over you and your really cute family. I want to say no offense, but like, that's not offensive. Shannon continues. I get where you're coming from with the accusation. I've been harassed by a girl who catfished me for about 12 years now. I find that really interesting because 4 months after this, she made her I was stalked, for 8+ years story time. I know exactly how long I have been stalked by you, Shannon. I think it's weird that you put 8+ in your title when you tell me 12 years. Why wouldn't you just say I've been stalked for 12 years in your title? I don't know. I just thought that inconsistency was interesting. Shannon continues, to the point where she tried to convince my mom I was a cam girl and photoshopped nudes of me. See, I find things like this interesting because I was a cam girl for a short period of time. And I also, by Shannon or Andrew, had my nudes sent back to me, photoshopped, like in a mocking way, making fun of my body. Shannon continues, I wouldn't do that to someone else. It doesn't feel great, and it led me to trying to kill myself back in the day. Shannon and Andrew absolutely knew the anguish and the stress and the anxiety that they inflicted upon me from stalking me, and they knew that it drove me to the brink of suicide a number of times. So I can't speak to Shannon's mental health and what she has been through, but when she brought that up, it literally felt like she was taking a burning hot poker and stabbing me in an open wound. Shannon continues, I can't really explain why Andrew is as random as he is, though. That one's a mystery. I think he just thought it would be funny. It wasn't, but he'd never intentionally try to hurt you. He's got a lot of respect for you. Like, you've collaborated with him in his music. You know how important that is to him. He's not the type of person who lets someone in like that and then switches on him, if that makes sense. I feel like it does. I don't know. Like I had mentioned at the beginning of the video, now that I look back and know who was harassing me, it makes me feel sick to my stomach that I collaborated with Andrew on his music video and on his music and things like that. I think it gave him some sort of sick pleasure to know that like I could just waltz in his room and work with him professionally, just feel totally comfortable having a nice chat with him after we were done working. And then I go home and he's got this immense control over me. I think he got off on that. I said, I'm going to be filing a restraining order. I just have too much evidence to believe otherwise. I will not be pressing any charges because, like I said, I don't want to hurt or ruin anyone's lives. I'm just a little afraid now that I'm a mother. I want to protect my children and my family at any cost. The restraining order will prevent Andrew and you by association of IP from contacting me, but that's okay because we don't really need to talk anyway. So it's not you. You have nothing to worry about because a private investigator will locate the address and the new IP. And if it's not you guys, then the hunt continues. Here's where I start to show a little bit of doubt and weakness, and she just totally pounces on it. I said, look, if I'm wrong, please forgive me. I know I seem crazy, but it's been 8 years of harassment, and I have an obligation not only to myself but to my children. That's why I've done nothing up until this point. I didn't care that it was just happening to me, but my kids are my whole life. Shannon said, no, I completely understand. I said, I'm sorry. I know I sound insane if you really have nothing to do with this, but I just have to go with my gut. Again, if it's really not you guys, then that will prove itself. Shannon said, do what you need to do, but it isn't me. It isn't Andrew. That's all I can vouch for. If anything, he's more confused as to why you think it's him when he had you in a video where you were being harassed, and he got shit from it, So this is the second time she brings up me working with Andrew while I was being harassed, and she uses it as a way to kind of clear their name. What I find odd is that she remembers those two things were happening simultaneously, because if I'm really just like, yeah, just my boyfriend's ex, like whatever, I don't think that would be something that would be in the forefront of her memory. I just think it's weird that she was able to recall it so easily and use it as a way to like clear their name. And also this kind of just confirms that Andrew got sick pleasure, or both of them got sick pleasure from me coming over and working with him while they secretly harassed me online because she remembers it so readily. Just some food for thought. Shannon says, and I feel you, I really do. I get where you're coming from on this, but no one here has the time to mess with you. I said, yeah, I promise you there are things that don't make sense to me either. There are several things that make me think it's not Andrew, but there are just a lot of uncanny coincidences, and it may just be that, coincidences. But this is the route I've decided to take, and the truth is, even though I'm mostly convinced, I still respect his intelligence, his art, your intelligence, your art, your lives. I don't want to get in anyone's way. I just want to make stupid art videos for my internet friends. I want to live in peace. I can take the hate, but I can't take the fear of losing my job and not being able to support my kids, or losing my kids. Shannon said, honestly, there's no way for me to prove it's not me, but it'll sort itself out. No, I completely understand that point. You have a family. As someone who's sensitive issues, that's a huge deal for me. I would never try to hurt someone like that, but there's no way you can actually know that for sure, because you don't know me. And then because of what she mentioned, I start to soften a little bit, to have some sympathy for her, and I say, yeah, I know, Shannon. I know you don't, and I'm sorry. I really am sorry. If I'm wrong, I'm so sorry. But I just have to do this. When I first suspected Andrew, I actually worried about you. Part of me wanted to reach out to make sure you were okay, but I wasn't sure what was real or what wasn't. Shannon said, all I know is that he has too much respect for you to do that. I don't know you well enough to spend that much time on it, and you need to do what's right for you. No, I completely understand. If I thought your partner was doing that, I'd probably want to reach out too. You don't have to be sorry. I understand. I completely get it. When I was going through shit, I once accused my sister of being behind it, so I understand. Then I said I thought it was maybe Andrew and Brandon for a time, especially because Brandon is so intense and that can be contagious. And then when I brought up Brandon, it was like she saw an out and pounced on it. Shannon said, I think it's Brandon. Last year, Brandon tried to get me fired because Andrew essentially chose me over him. Also, he tried to have an art YouTube, and it hasn't been going well. We all moved to location together, lived in cars together, and he essentially tried to drive Andrew and I apart. I wouldn't be surprised if it was him. I asked, where does Brandon live now? Shannon said, mainly because he's tried shit with me before and Andrew had to step in. I don't know, somewhere in location still, but I don't talk to him or look at his shit. I had to block him because he started messaging my followers, telling them I was a cunt and shit. Sounds really familiar. Shannon continues. He directly tried to sabotage my channel a couple of times. Sounds really familiar. I said, could he possibly live in location? I know that's where you guys were originally headed. Shannon says, I think so, yeah. I don't know for sure, but it's a couple hours away. I said, his last name was spelled last name, right? Shannon said, yes. Oh, apparently he lives in location. I just asked Andrew. Neither of us has talked to him for a year or so. I said, okay, I'll give that information to the PI. Look, you don't know how badly I want to believe it's not you guys. I wanted to believe it was some random nut job. Shannon said, yeah, I completely understand. Completely. Do what you need to do. And as for Brandon, if he is or was behind it, we didn't know. Andrew wouldn't have let you near him, and I just didn't like being around Brandon in general. Shannon continues, you need to keep yourself safe and do what feels right. Getting a PI and protecting your family is exactly right. I have nothing but respect for that. No judgment, no bullshit. I understand. I've been through it, and had she not admitted to doing it, I would be where you are now. So right there, she admits that Amy had admitted doing it. So if Amy really is me and I'm the one harassing her, then Shannon, you must have evidence of me admitting to stalking you somewhere, because right there, you claimed that your stalker admitted it.
If you're asking yourself, Shannon, where are the emails? Where are they in this video? I want to see one of these emails. That brings me to another giant mistake that I kept making this entire time. Every email I got, every derogatory, deranged email about wanting me to die, I read once and I deleted it. At the time, I didn't realize how fucking stupid that was, and I didn't think what was happening was a crime or like important. I very much downplayed what was happening because it was happening to me. It wasn't illegal or fucked up because it was happening to me. I thought it was embarrassing, and I thought if people knew about it, it would be embarrassing for me. I'd be like a bitch on the internet who can't take a joke, and I didn't want people to know I had all these faults that were so alarmingly accurate being pointed out in email and email.
I said, yeah, but it's surprisingly a lot more complicated and expensive. Again, I ran out of money. Then they make it look on TV. So fucking expensive. But yeah, look, please tell Andrew I'm sorry as well. If I'm wrong, I'm a scared fucking idiot. Shannon said, no, you're not an idiot. This has been happening for years, so you're not dumb at all. I'm still paranoid to the point where I don't tell people online shit until it's 2 years old because I don't want them tracking me. I said, thank you for understanding. I wish you both literally nothing but good things and happiness. I truly do, from the bottom of my heart. That's all any of us could ever want. Shannon said, back at you. We have similar experiences. Way to cover your ass, Shannon, which is terrible, but it's at least some common ground. And back at you. You have a supportive husband, very cute baby, and a great career. You should be extremely proud of yourself. I'm oddly proud of you, and I don't even know you. If you ever need more info on either Andrew, Brandon, or I, either to clear my name or even if it makes us look worse, let me know. I said, yes, exactly. Lol, thank you, Shannon. You both are wildly talented and intelligent people, and I'd ask for more information, but I worry about doing wrong to you unjustly. Like, I could just ask for your exact address and have Andrew served with papers, but I truly worry if I was wrong, I'd feel awful. I'll just let the PI and the police take care of it. This person, whoever it is, has been doing less in recent years, so I'm just hoping they stop altogether. It's motherhood that's made me distressed and paranoid more than anything. Okay, we were missing a few of the original screenshots at the end, so I went to my Instagram. Thankfully, Shannon did not delete her Instagram. She just deleted everything off of it, so I was still able to access the old DMs, and I took new screenshots. I have since gotten a new phone, so that's why the screenshots look a little different. Shannon discloses some personal information that I don't feel comfortable sharing with the public, and she says I'm not uber public with that because I hate the idea of people pitting me, and I'm also super private with it. And then some other private information that alluded to the previous private information, more private information, and then she asked, and sever with payers, what does that mean? And I said, no, I won't tell a soul, I promise. Then Shannon said, you're the only one who knows other than Annie. I don't know who that is. I said, oh my bad, papers. When a restraining order is set, one is served with papers, either their place of work, home, a place they frequent, or in this case, where the IP is coming from. Shannon said, oh, okay, if I give you a PO box, would it be okay to serve them there? Or can we get something notarized that says something similar? That way you don't have to spend any money. You have a legal document stating we won't contact you, and if it ends up being not us, we can just let bygones be bygones. I don't know, I just realized that makes no sense. I said, actually, that would be great. Is the PO box in your name or Andrew's? This would probably help eliminate you guys, if anything. Shannon says, it's both of ours. My full name is Shannon, last name, if that also helps. I said, you don't understand how much I appreciate this. You really don't. Yes, the PO address would be great. She gives me her PO box. I said, like, I'm actually getting a little emotional because I've been so worried it's been you guys. Thank you so much. Man, she got me hook, line, and sinker. Actually, no, they didn't get me hook, line, and sinker. I 100% was still convinced it was them at this point. And this is something I've had to work on in therapy. I am a weak-willed person. If you are nice to me, I will fold like a house of cards. And I was also still considerably afraid of both of them at this point. So whenever they would show me like a sliver of humanity, I would just cling to it because I just wanted everything to be over. I just wanted to be left alone. So I would try to like play to their kind human side. Again, that tend and befriend response. Now I know Shannon said with her alleged stalker that they became friends and like kept in touch over email or whatever. I would never ever go that far unless I desperately had to protect myself. But I just mostly wanted them to leave me the fuck alone, and I was prepared to do anything to get that. Shannon said, no, I understand completely. I really am happy to help, even if that means following a restraining order or a notarized letter. Regardless, I know how important it is to feel safe, and you deserve that much. I said, I might be able to just hire an attorney that can write up a document so no one has to deal with police dealings, but I'll have to look into it. I'll talk to the PI next week. The PO box may just totally clear you right off the bat. Thank you again so much. From woman to woman, thank you for being kind. Truly, I hope you have a life filled with nothing but success. Andrew as well. You both have a great night. Shannon said, Brandon also used to be on the PO box. That might be important, but no problem. It's not hard to be kind, and especially in this situation. Really, it seems like it's really hard for you to be truly kind, Shannon. It's hard enough going through what you went through, and we're both more than happy and willing to sign something that says we will not contact you again in any form ever again. And back at you. I'm happy this helps, and happy this made you feel at least a little bit better. It was never my intention to make you feel any which way, but I understand where you're coming from and why you did. Never feel like you have to apologize for that. And I said, thank you so much. Good night.
So after confronting Shannon, for the most part, all the stalk accounts and all the hate stopped, like most of it. If she did receive any, she knew it wasn't from them. I don't know if this was before or after the interaction with Shannon. I believe it was after that. Emily received a DM from an account called Brita Filter, and this is what they said.
Hi, Emily. You don't know me, but unfortunately, I know you. I want to explain this as clearly as possible, but it's very difficult for me to get my words out right now with everything I found and what's going on around me. I don't expect you to reply. I just want you to know what happened because in a weird way, it does affect you. My brother has been a quote-unquote fan of you for a while now. He's apparently watched all of your videos and has them saved on his computer. There are some of you where you're singing and it's fairly grainy, all the way up to some that I see you are currently posting on YouTube. He has pages and pages of screen names, information on you, and things that I don't think any person should have on someone. Essentially, if you put it out on the internet, he has it. I also found screenshots of when he has harassed you. He made accounts on YouTube years ago pretending to be a girl named Ava, I think she means Asia, but whatever, and bothered you then. I believe he has a list of your past employees, one being an optical shop, and though I'm not sure, I believe he might have sent them things about you. He made various Twitters and sent you messages about other people and things that have nothing to do with you. He even started reaching out to various people, followers of you on YouTube and Instagram with quote-unquote proof that you buy subscribers. I know via screenshots that he sent these with little notes on them. If I had known about this sooner, I would have stopped it sooner. But unfortunately, our family has some communication problems. In this modern age, it's hard to find a reason to check someone else's computer for anything, but I think my parents should have been more attentive with that. I was using his computer for schoolwork and found everything. Even videos of you in a bathtub, which I thought as inappropriate, and I truly don't understand how he got those. I took the laptop and showed the information to my family, and we have all decided it is in his best interest to go to a mental health facility and be cut off from this. I don't know what else I can say, but I am sorry. He was and is a kid, and is currently only 15. I don't know when you started posting or what he first saw of you, but for some reason, you became his fixation. He is going to be receiving help and counseling, and we are going to be spending thousands of dollars to figure this out. I refuse to let this happen to any other woman. I am sorry for doing this anonymously, but because my brother is a child, my parents have told me not to speak out about this with anyone else outside of family. I know that must be inherently frustrating for you, but it's important to me that you at least know that this problem was seen and will be taken care of. If there is anything else you want to know, please don't hesitate to ask. I only made this account to let you know what is going on because I felt that it was close to criminal for you to not know about something that so dearly affects you. I know when I was being harassed online at the age of 13, my trust in people went down because I couldn't know who did it. I want to tell you it was my brother, a boy you don't know, who at a very young age found you online and became obsessed. There is no other way to say it. He became obsessed. I hope that eases your mind and your heart, and I hope you have a beautiful life again. If you need anything else, let me know. I said, would you be able to do me a favor? So I know this is all real. email. I need to see/talk to you on video chat, Snapchat, Instagram, Skype, it doesn't matter, because all this information seems suspicious to me. It's exactly what's happened to me to a T, obviously with a huge handful of things missing and some things that I didn't even know that they had on me. And I find it very strange that all this information would be in one place, especially some of the more personal things, like him getting me fired from my job. Unless he specifically wrote that down somewhere, which would also be strange. I just find it unusual. Also, this has been happening for 5 years. I just find all this hard to believe that a 10-year-old would do what, quote unquote, he did back then. I find it all hard to believe, especially because I know it's you, Andrew, and I don't think you can fulfill my video chat request. And I've already decided I'm not going to take this anymore. I can't be held down by my past mistakes. I've worked hard to improve myself as a person and on my mental health. I needed to be a better person. I am a better person because of my mistakes. You can't hurt me anymore. Brita Filter says, if you don't believe me, that is okay because of what has happened and the legality of it all. My parents are not comfortable with that, but I understand your issues. I hope you find peace, and I'm glad you've moved beyond this. Personally, I am sorry that this has happened to you, and I wish you nothing but the greatest success. As for how we know he got you fired and information of the like, here's a video of you crying where you state someone got you fired and text documents of him taking credit for it. Though I doubt I will be able to convince you that this is legitimate, I do hope that you find peace with this, and I understand the trust is not here. If I could Skype with you without risk, I would, but according to my parents, that is a risk they don't want me taking. Meanwhile, I hope you know these were not your mistakes. These were my brother's, and he will be paying for them. You didn't and do not deserve to pay for my brother's misgivings. This will most likely be my last time using this account. I do appreciate your time, and I hope from the bottom of my heart and soul that you continue to do well. I pray you are able to forgive those in your life, and I know you will continue to thrive. Thank you for at least listening to what I've had to say and letting me know that words have gotten to you. God bless. What a ripe crock of shit.
There are so many red flags with this exchange, such as, number one, the sender states that the brother is 15 at the time that these text messages were sent, an age where someone cannot have a driver's license and therefore needs to have an adult drive them around, aka the breadcrumb from the Snapchats. At this point, it had been 5 years since the harassment had begun, meaning that he was 10. He is truly the world's most powerful 10-year-old. 2, this account was referenced by Shannon in their last DMs, my bad. Shannon claimed the account reached out to tell her that Emily wronged them. I don't know why Shannon would be connected to Emily to the point where some random person would come to tell Shannon that. I also don't understand this because the account told Emily that they were the sister of the perpetrator and created the account to tell her it was her brother. How would the sister know how Emily wronged her brother? The sister clearly didn't, because their reasoning for why the brother harassed Emily was because the brother just saw her when he was 10 and something awoke in him. These are real strange narratives that are trying to be strung together, but clearly are not working together, because it's either a sob story about how the person wronged them, which I think the brother would know even more than the sister, or this 10-year-old just saw Emily live her life and was upset. It's one of the two, not both. 3, the account has the same story as Shannon, that they were stalked at 13. Which, I mean, I don't think many people are stalked at 13. So I don't think that's a shared experience between many. Last point that I'm going to make in this section that is relevant is that Emily showed the blurred out IP that she had mentioned earlier. I highly recommend you watch this portion of her video because there is tons of evidence here. Like later on towards the end, there is a lot of evidence. Okay, so I want to keep these next couple of sections brief because of everything we went through with the Emily Artful thing. So let's talk about Ashlee Lilly. Ashlee Lilly is an ex-friend of Shannon's. They were friends when the whole Davi Vanity thing was going on. If you don't know who Davi Vanity is, he is the lead singer of an old scene band called Blood on the Dance Floor. And he's a predator. Whoop-de-doo. And Ashlee Lilly was one of his survivors. So Shannon and a group of friends came together to help boost Ashlee Lilly and other survivors' stories. Since all of this has come out, she has been extremely outspoken and helped Emily collect even more receipts. She has made her own video discussing this, so I would recommend you go watch her video when you are done watching mine. It's like 30-ish minutes, and it has all the receipts that she collected on her own. I'm going to try so hard to not get angry right now. But if I do, would you realistically be mad at me? I don't think so. Anyways, I would like to call out some YouTubers real quick. First of all, I'd like to call out the friend group of Angelica Oles, Petty Page, Dustin Daly, Nick Snyder, etc. And I want to call them out because on Twitter, they would quote-unquote call out Shannon's friends after the lolcow stuff came out and before Emily's video dropped, like in between those couple of days. I think it was like a week or something. I don't really remember. And I want to call out maybe Paige specifically because all of them were just rushing this group of friends to make videos immediately as if, you know, they're supposed to be okay within like 2 minutes of learning that their friend was shit-talking them on a gossip forum and like making weird remarks and saying slurs. They're supposed to be like, yep, time to record. Like, you had no personal connection to Shannon. These people did. And they were like making like snarky little remarks about it, like, oh, they only call us out quickly. And I would just like to remind everyone that we were calling this group of friends out because their friend had said racial slurs and they were dead silent about it and doing absolutely nothing when their friend said racial slurs. Like, listen, I understand that silence is being complacent in the situation, but I would like to have people give other people a couple of days to collect their thoughts. Listen, I totally would have liked a statement too from them a little earlier, being like, hey guys, I'm gonna take some time to collect my thoughts. I'll make the video as soon as I can. Trust me, I would have liked that, but even then, they literally, first of all, don't owe us anything. And two, they were personally connected to Shannon. They talked with Shannon. They told Shannon deep personal things. So let's give people some space before they have to talk about things. Next group of people I want to call out is actually a friend group of Shannon's. They're called the Goon Squad. And I personally want to talk about Nicholas DiOrio. I know Repsion came out with some stuff. I'll link a video down from Kales Brown that delves more into that. Basically, he was just making fun of his audience because his audience was like, hey, you should probably talk about this. And he was belittling them. I want to talk about Nicholas DiOrio though, because he's just full on making fun of Emily Artful and her statement and her video. And listen, I understand 100% that Emily's claims are based in circumstantial evidence, but that is way more evidence than Shannon has ever given us on anything, really. Specifically regarding her stalker story, Emily has given us more evidence that this is factual than anything else. She literally has IP addresses, which is concrete, basically, is what I want to get at. She's even released some DMs that show that Shannon was in the place that the IP address was located at, because Shannon used to go to a specific library in Oregon when she was homeless, and that's where the IP traced one of the sock accounts. It would be a really big coincidence if there was another person who was also homeless or just going to the library, creating a sock account, and just belittling Emily. through it, you know? So he's also making fun of Emily because her video is like 2 hours long, but then didn't watch the full 2 hours. So he's like, oh, there's no evidence in here. But he didn't watch the full 2 hours, where near the end, again, it has most of the evidence. So, Nicholas, you're going to have to give me something. You're going to have to give me something, baby. You're giving very much stupid, but you're going to have to give off something else, baby. I'm so sorry. But you're going to have to give us something new. Okay, so I had originally planned for the conclusion to include my face, but I want you guys to enjoy the rest of this beautiful speed paint, because there are like 20 minutes left to it, or wait, no, I don't know time, I don't know, there's only a little bit left to it, so I wanted you guys to enjoy it. You guys don't need to see my face for the rest of this video. Just enjoy me painting some pretty flowers. So, honestly, I'm just disappointed. Like I said, I used to be a fan. So, I'm extremely disappointed that someone that I was a fan of, that I dedicated hours to, even making this whole video, I dedicated hours and days to her. I'm honestly just disappointed to find out that this is the person who I was supporting for years. You know, it's just extremely disheartening to see this. It's extremely disheartening to see people do what they did in the hypocrisy section. I feel so bad for Shannon's friends, for her sibling who was doxxed because of this. They have since gone private on their Twitter. I hope they are doing okay. I feel so bad for Emily to have had gone through all that she did. Luckily for her, this video was, as she says, extremely cathartic to come out with, and as of me recording this, she has stated that she is going to be coming out with another video that's going to be shorter in length, clarifying anything that needs clarification. So I will include that in the description down below, along with all the other videos that I've referenced today and others, so that you guys can go watch it and hear more from her perspective. Maybe get her to answer some of your questions that you have with this video and other stuff. Any last words that I have are that I hope Shannon goes to get some help. I hope that Emily is doing okay. I hope that Ashlee Lilly is doing okay. I hope that Ready to Glare is doing okay. I hope that everyone involved in the situation is doing okay and alright, because I've been backstabbed myself, and it's not the prettiest thing in the world to have to go through. Not to mention online, and like this, to find out that the person who you thought you trusted was like the full 180 of who they actually are and who they presented themselves to be. God, I can't even imagine that. Like, holy shit, this needs to be like a Netflix thing. Just kidding. But Jesus, this situation is something. To former fans of Creepshow art, just like I was, I hope you guys are doing okay. I'm trying to branch out and watch other videos that don't talk about the situation, because I'm honestly just so tired. I've spent the past couple of days just shoving myself lower and lower into the situation, because I frankly just couldn't believe it. I couldn't wrap my head around what I was learning with each passing day, and with each passing day, more stuff comes out on the situation. One of Shannon's old college friends came out with their side of the story, saying how they had witnessed Shannon harass Emily. Shannon's sibling even came out and said a similar sentiment. So honestly, I'm in pain. I hope everyone is doing okay. Regular intro time to, maybe lighten this video up a bit. Please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I try to be here for you every single Friday. Sometimes life happens and I can't be there for you. Sometimes you either get a bonus video like this one, or sometimes you just get no video. But, that's just life. Sometimes in life you win some, you lose some. That's just the gig. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, even though it was extremely long. It took me a long time to edit. It's taken me days. It's been real hard work, but I hope you guys appreciate the work that I have put into this video. I hope you guys enjoyed the art in the background. Let me know if you would like to see me do something artsy again, like if you would like to, have a video like this again where you just have art and voiceover in the background. I hope you guys just enjoyed me trying not to lose my shit for 2 hours. And I'll see you guys next time with a brand new video. If this video posts on the day that I want it to, which will be Tuesday or Wednesday, in the last week of June, I believe. Tuesday would be the 22nd, Wednesday the 23rd. If it's posting on either of those 2 days, the next video will be lighter. It will be the 1-year anniversary of me posting consistently on this channel, so I hope you guys enjoy that. And I'll see you guys next time with that lighter video. Toodles.